let's talk for a minute. I just want your time, baby girl, can we walk for a minute? Oh my God. And you not a therapist at this moment, I just need to help me vent. Oh my God. And life is beating my hands at this moment, baby girl, I'm feeling.
That's it, the greatest era in football history.
Football has its own legends, storylines, and iconic moments, but the 2000s might have just been the best of them all. In the 2000s, we witnessed the peak of football's most iconic players, Zidane, R9, Ronaldinho, alongside the rise of both Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. We witnessed the greatest international tournaments ever, as well as the fiercest rivalries and even scandals that shocked the entire football world. Legendary goals, impossible comebacks, and iconic haircuts all make up just a fraction of what makes this the greatest era in football history. So, starting from 2000 and working our way through the decade, this is the full recap of the 2000s. At the turn of the...
Hey, to my people that actually watch soccer, I got a really quick question, though. Has this World Cup been good to y'all that actually watch? Because for me, as a casual fan, this shit's been nice. I've been enjoying it. But I want to make sure I'm just not, like, on the opposite side. You know, I want to see what the real soccer fans are thinking. Yes, very... Yeah, this shit been good, bro. All right,
millennium, football was changing, and fast. The sport was rapidly moving away from the 20th century traditions where players represented their local clubs for decades, fans crammed into tightly packed terraces, and corporate influence was minimal because the 1993 rebranding of the Premier League and the Champions League, along with increased television interest in the sport, meant revenue streams and financial opportunities for owners were surging. Yet, corporations and club owners weren't the only beneficiaries of the sport's sudden influx of cash. Players' salaries and social statuses transcended what was previously achievable from the beautiful game and the first generation.
I don't know. I seen somebody, was that Saudi Arabia? When I seen who all they was playing, I'm like, damn, they really dead ass fried. That wasn't Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia played like so fucking trash the other day. Oh my goodness.
Of celebrity-like football superstars was born. By 2000, Ronaldo Nazario, Zinedine Zidane, and Luis Figo were globally recognized icons through their sponsorship deals with Nike, Adidas, and other international brands. And as football responded to the impacts of globalization, the emphasis on domestic competitions diminished slightly as all of Europe's elite clubs became obsessed with winning the Champions League trophy. The financial incentives for achieving a spot in the Champions League and progressing deep into the competition became so significant that they could transform an entire club for years. And come the year 2000, Spanish teams were dominating on this front as the Champions League semifinals saw Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia make up 3 out of the 3 available spots, with the only other going to Bayern Munich. Luis Figo was still a Barca player at the time, and his side fell to a shock semifinal defeat to Valencia as Madrid edged past Munich to set up an all-Spanish final. The sides met in Paris as the world stopped to watch the biggest game of the club season. Many dreamed of Valencia upsetting Los Blancos, but Raúl, Steve McManaman, and Fernando Morientes were too much for Valencia as they cruised to a 3-0 victory. After a 31-year wait, the competition's traditional rulers had regained control and won their second tournament in 3 seasons and their 8th triumph in history. And this came at the perfect time for Los Blancos as they were ready to respond to the financial boom football was seeing and evolve into an unstoppable superpower once more. It was here that President Florentino Perez created an ambitious transfer strategy that would see the Spanish club sign one Galactico player every summer to build a super team, starting with Barcelona's talisman, Luis Figo. The move was controversial and hugely unpopular, but represented the power Madrid were beginning to impose on the footballing world. Now, despite their European dominance, Real Madrid were unable to lift the league that year. In fact, neither did Barcelona nor Valencia, with Deportivo La Coruña shocking Spanish football by winning their first and only La Liga title. Looking over to the rest of Europe, Manchester United lifted the Premier League as they finished 18 points clear of Arsenal. Bayern Munich picked up their second Bundesliga in...
Matter of fact, let me just hold it because I actually want to watch this. Hey, what's that number? Okay. Hey, man. All right, there we go.
Monaco lifted the French league, and Lazio finished 1 point clear of Juventus to lift the Serie A title. But 2000 was an extra special year because in the summer, the world of football collided at the Euros, making the first of 5 iconic international tournaments in this era. I mean, really, every single tournament in the 2000s gave the world of football the most incredible stories. And Euro 2000 kicked off in the Netherlands with an iconic France side eager to build on their World Cup win just 2 years prior. Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, and Zinedine Zidane were at the forefront of this side, who edged past Spain and Portugal in the knockout stages until they faced Italy in the final.
Bro, I just watched the video off stream about how dominant Italy was and how they fucked it up. Bro, you know, I wasn't really watching soccer crazy, but I've seen some of like videos in the past about how Italy was good, but I didn't know how nice them motherfuckers really was. Right? They obviously won a World Cup, you know, after watching the video, but now they fucked that all up. Now they fell off so bad. They didn't even qualify in the era that got the most teams ever in the World Cup.
In an iconic blue, white, and red Adidas jersey, France played with swagger and attitude that defined the era, and even the strength of defenders like Paolo Maldini, Fabio Cannavaro, and Alessandro Nesta couldn't stop the French. Except they almost did. You see, the Italians were minutes away from lifting the trophy as they led 1-0 with the game approaching its final whistle. But that's when history was made as Sylvain Wiltord snatched a last-gasp equalizer before Trezeguet won the game with a strike in golden goal. And just like that, history was made as they became the first country to win the Euros and the World Cup back-to-back.
No.
France's Euro 2000 success was filled with Arsenal talent who were among the most feared clubs in the world at the time. I'm talking Henry, Bergkamp, Pires, and many more. Wenger's side managed to lift the Premier League in '98, but had failed in the previous 2 attempts, and with Ferguson dominating the Premier League for a decade now, tensions were building. And in 2001, the London club challenged United for the title, but finished in 2nd place for a 3rd consecutive season as Fergie lifted his 3rd Premier League in a row. Wenger believed that to compete with United, reinforcements of defense were needed, and while moves for Italian stars were discussed, it turned out a world-class defender was available much closer to home. Sol Campbell, the towering 6'2" center-back, played 255 games for arch-enemies Tottenham Hotspur, becoming one of the Premier League's most efficient defenders in the process. And with 12 months left on his contract, speculation began to circulate that the London-born defender might be ready to leave White Hart Lane. But fans were concerned Campbell would join Barcelona or Real Madrid. So when the defender was unveiled at Highbury after signing for Arsenal on a free transfer, Spur fans were outraged as he had just completed one of the worst betrayals in football history. But that wasn't the only major signing of the year, because after Real Madrid were knocked out in the Champions League by eventual champions Bayern Munich, they knew they had to strengthen quickly, and they were on the hunt for the next Galacticos. So, after finishing 17 points ahead of Barcelona to clinch La Liga, Los Blancos added their 2nd Galactico to their collection by signing Zinedine Zidane for a world-breaking 77.5 million euros, as many considered him the best football player in the world. Over in Italy, Roma picked up their 3rd Serie A title, led by the magnificent Francesco Totti. Bayern Munich won another Bundesliga, and looking over to the Ballon d'Or in 2001, well, that was picked up by a certain Michael Owen at just 21 years of age. You see, despite Oliver Kahn's penalty shootout heroics in Bayern's Champions League final victory over Valencia, David Beckham's lethal crossing skills for Man United, Liverpool striker Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or after Liverpool completed an FA Cup, League Cup, and...
To be honest, whenever I used to play FIFA games back in the day, the team that I used the most was Manchester United. Like, obviously, I heard of them because of, like, I think it was like Beckham, like they just said, right? But it was really like Wayne Rooney them. Like, I kept seeing, I always would get the game and try to score with Wayne Rooney.
UEFA Cup treble as the 2001-2002 season rolled around.
Bandwagon. No, the fuck I'm not. I wouldn't have fan. I just used them in the games.
He'd face tough competition to retain his status as the world's best player in 2002, as the great Ronaldo Nazario was returning from injury, and a certain Ronaldinho was emerging as a ridiculously talented player.
I ain't trying to hear that shit. Nigga, you a fan of France, nigga. You bandwagoning motherfucker. And who your other team? Don't you like PSG? Who your soccer team? You better get the fuck up out of here. Don't worry about it. Nigga sick. This nigga just edited himself on a fucking jersey. What that shit? Go to my history. Look how this nigga talking to me, man. You better hope I can't find that. You better hope I can't find that. Look how this nigga talking to me. You bandwagoning motherfucker. You get the fuck out of here, nigga. That nigga's fucking
Every era of football has its
real big, by the way. Hell no. You not finna get that bullshit off. Leave me the fuck alone, bro.
The months building up to the 2002 World Cup were sensational. Thierry Henry was terrifying.
Why would you gonna blame me?
The Premier League has the electric French forward notched 24 goals as Arsenal finally beat United to the title again. Zinedine Zidane enjoyed a tremendous opening season with Real Madrid, finishing with one of the greatest Champions League final goals of all time. The eight-time winners met Bayer Leverkusen in the final, who enjoyed a miracle Champions League run, beating English Titans Liverpool and Manchester United during the knockout stages. Everybody expected Madrid to cruise to their 9th Champions League triumph, but the opening 45 minutes were frustrating. With the score locked at 1-0 and Los Blancos appearing unconvincing, the two teams looked set.
If it ain't Chelsea, your team irrelevant. Hey, man, I heard Chelsea got VAR in their pockets. I heard that they be scamming and paying off the refs. That's just what I heard. Don't blame the messenger.
To go into halftime level until Roberto Carlos played an aimless, looping ball to the edge of the box, towering meters above the Frenchman's head. He watched the ball drop for what must have felt like an eternity and smashed the back of the net with an iconic volley, showcasing arguably the greatest technique of the entire decade. And Zidane's strike turned out to be the winning goal.
Damn, look at that goal.
To bed, putting the final nail in the coffin of what was the worst few weeks of the club's history. You see, Leverkusen had led the Bundesliga by 5 points with 3 games remaining, but failed to get their hands on the league title. They also lost the DFB Pokal in the final, and now, thanks to Zinedine Zidane, they went from the cusp of a treble to trophyless, leaving the club with the nickname Neverkusen. Juventus lifted the Serie A again, overtaking Milan on the final day, and Lyon won their first ever league title, which sparked the start of a 7-season winning streak in the French league. And now, as the 2001-2002 season drew to a close, players prepared for the greatest tournament in football as the World Cup was set to be held in South Korea and Japan. The expectations were that France was going to dominate once again, with Zidane and Henry even better than last time round. But there was just one thing the world did not consider, as there was only one nation capable of stealing the World Cup glory from the French. Ronaldo Nazario returned from years of injury woes to fire 4 goals in the final 4 matches of the Serie A season, while Ronaldinho was enjoying a sensational season in Ligue 1 with Paris Saint-Germain. The Brazilian wonder kid showcased an unprecedented level of flair and skill on the ball. And accompanying R9 and Dino in the Brazil squad were legends like Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Rivaldo, and Dida. The team had a spirit and love for the beautiful game that could only be cultivated by spending childhoods perfecting skill moves on football-obsessed Brazilian beaches or dodging lunging tackles on street pitches in poverty-ridden favelas. In beaches or dodging lunging tackles on street pitches in poverty-ridden favelas. And Brazilian fever continued to sweep the world as R9 danced past World Cup defenders, scoring 6 goals during an iconic run to the final that included victories over England, Belgium, and Turkey. Yet, when Brazil reached the final, anybody without a knowledge of how the tournament actually unfolded would expect Henry and Zidane's France to be waiting for them. But the French were nowhere to be seen. They endured a shock group stage exit after suffering crushing defeats to Senegal and Denmark, blowing the tournament wide open. After a favorable run of fixtures, including ties against Paraguay, USA, and South Korea, Germany would meet Brazil in the final, and Oliver Kahn would be tasked with keeping a
Now, let me ask y'all, as far as the World Cup stage, I don't know. I don't think any of these nations ever won one, but who has been the best African team consistently? If y'all, like, if there's anybody, like, consistently, these guys might be the top out of everybody else.
Surgeon R9 quiet. But the 0-1 Champions League heroes' efforts were in vain. Ronaldo scored twice in the second half as Brazil cruised to their 5th World Cup. And of course, one club were extra impressed by R9's comeback story and 8-goal World Cup campaign. So, Real Madrid made the striker their next
Rivalry?
Galacticos
Okay.
signing for 45 million euros. But was the superstar project threatening to get out of hand? Madrid's Galacticos flattered to deceive during the year that followed Ronaldo Nazario's arrival at the Bernabeu, ending the La Liga campaign with 78 goals. However,
You said Morocco right now, if you count them as Africans, well, I ain't gonna lie. I'm watching the French game. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100. I wouldn't gonna go to sleep for that, bro. Like, I gotta watch Mbappe at least. Hopefully, I could watch the Netherlands too. But yeah, I'm watching the French game 1000%. I feel like I heard his name before. A nigga mentioned me in this. What? What does niggas be mentioning me on in TikTok? He dead ass sound like this nigga. Why did you mention me in this? Oh, it's fucking disgusting. Like, what do niggas? Let me go to my TikTok mentions real quick. How do you do that? Because what do niggas be mentioning me in? Why did you do that? How do you get to your mentions? Activities. Mentions and tags. Literally you, man. Like, what's happening?
Por favor, Montoya, por favor, Montoya! Montoya!
Oh, I can't show this on stream, actually. Well, yes, I can. I think I can. Yo, this was crazy.
Montoya! ¡Lo pierdo! ¡Montoya, vuelve!
So if you want to know what's going on, they got this nigga.
Montoya, por favor, Montoya, por
They had him sitting, and it's a dating show. He's reacting to his girlfriend on the hidden camera.
Montoya, vuelve!
Granny relative, I'm sorry.
Montoya, por favor! Montoya, Montoya!
The thing is, I get, bro. This nigga yelling, my heart has been torn. Now the thing is, hey gang, this is the very PG version of it. Because they took it out. Obviously, they not showing them outside of the cover, but they was under the cover and you seen Shorty getting piped down. I said, what the fuck? They do this on TV?
I was fucking this bad bitch, she fucking me good, and every day I was broke.
Whoa.
Crazy, I'm pulling up too.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me go one more mention. What is this? Oh, hold on. No. Let's go back to the other video. Please stop mentioning me and things on TikTok because something's wrong with you people.
However, R9 was still lethal. He scored 23 league goals during his first full post-injury league campaign, but the team was not firing to the level that a side containing several world-class players might be expected to. When Madrid faced Manchester United in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, rumors circulated that they were interested in signing David Beckham as their next Galactico. Beckham was an extraordinary footballer with pinpoint crossing accuracy, yet the Englishman's appeal to Madrid president Florentino Perez was unrelated to his footballing ability. The London-born midfielder had a gigantic global following and collaborated with brands including Adidas, Armani, Gillette, and Samsung. And the United man was married to global pop sensation Posh Spice, elevating Beckham to an unprecedented level of fame and commercial appeal for a footballer. Perez knew Beckham's image and social status away from the pitch would make him the perfect ambassador for the Real Madrid brand, and it was only a matter of time till something big was going to happen.
So they
here.
signed him primarily
Nonetheless,
because of his
both
brand?
Manchester
I mean, it's
United
smart,
and Real
to be
Madrid
honest.
were rapidly growing global brands as United won the Premier League and Madrid won La Liga.
That's just
but
smart
this
as
year,
fuck.
they weren't putting out the strongest sides in Europe because in 02-03, Serie A was producing the world's
Because like the thing is, I know we all be thinking that like a lot of clubs want to win, and obviously winning increases your brand. But we just said increasing your brand. The main thing that they want to do is get exposure. More exposure means more money, more marketing. That shit actually smart as fuck.
best talent. A star-studded Juventus side won the title with just 72 points, evidencing the talent that was littered across Italy's top flight. And in the Champions League, while Juventus would see off Madrid in one Champions League semi-final, the other would see a derby between AC Milan and Inter Milan, and unsurprisingly, the all-Italian contest would be as ruthless as a Roman gladiatorial battle. A tie that featured Shevchenko leading the line for AC and Crespo for Inter would seem destined to be filled with goals, but the two matches were defined by defensive stability, tactics, and lunging tackles in a ferocious San Siro atmosphere. The first leg ended 0-0, and the second finished 1-0, meaning AC Milan advanced through the cagey semi-final on away goals, meeting Serie A rivals Juventus in the Champions League final. Similar to the all-Italian semi, the final at Old Trafford featured little action. The teams canceled each other out, and after a grueling 120 minutes of ordinary and extra time,
I'm sorry. So he said Beckham was Beckham literally was the Messi for the MLS before MLS, or I think he meant he corrected it before. He said basically he was saying Beckham was the Messi before he did what Messi did before. And I remember that. I remember hearing about Beckham coming over to the MLS and shit like that. But then I remember seeing people laughing saying he's washed now if he's going over there.
I went to a penalty shootout. Trezeguet missed for Juventus and Shevchenko scored for AC as the Milan club secured its 6th Champions League title. With Trezeguet devastated and Shevchenko triumphant, the deadly strikers must have felt like they'd taken the most important spot kicks of their careers with contrasting outcomes. Yet by the end of the decade, Trezeguet would have a chance for redemption on the world stage, while Shevchenko would play a key role in the biggest Champions League final collapse of all time. But we'll get to that later. Oh, and of course, Bayern won the Bundesliga again this year. Now, the European superiority of the Milan clubs and Juventus during 02-03 symbolized the improvements that needed to be made by England's, Germany's, and Spain's
league clubs to compete for the illustrious
prize. Despite only previously lifting the trophy on a singular occasion, expectations in Catalonia that Barcelona should be competing for the Champions League annually were large. Yet, the Camp Nou club wouldn't even feature in the 03-04 competition. They suffered a disastrous 6th-place La Liga finish during the previous season and appeared void of identity and direction. Young talents that would go on to define the decade, such as Xavi, Iniesta, and Puyol, had featured for Barcelona. But as Madrid continued assembling their Galacticos with the newest addition of David Beckham, it was clear real investment was needed to stop Barca falling dramatically behind their Spanish and European Cup rivals. So, they signed Brazilian World Cup sensation Ronaldinho from PSG for 30 million euros, a player who epitomized the creativity and expression of Barcelona's great teams under Johan Cruyff during the 90s, and to utilize Ronaldinho and realign the struggling club with their identity of playing possession football and developing world-class talents from their La Masia academy, Barcelona appointed a new, legendary Dutch coach for the 03-04 campaign, Frank Rijkaard. The former Ajax man would take inspiration from Cruyff's teams of the 90s and built one in his image that would eventually become a serious force in Europe while playing total football. But without Champions League football, continental glory would have to wait for at least a year. And so too would domestic dominance, because it was Valencia who were crowned champions in 2004. But at least Barcelona finished above Real Madrid. But now the Galacticos transfer strategy started to receive criticism as Figo, R9, Zidane, and Beckham.
I remember seeing Ronaldinho, and I still see clips of him today. Like, they'll put up what he recently did on the soccer field. Actually, he just signed to somebody, which was nuts. He's still crazy with the damn ball and shit like that.
Crammed into the same starting lineup. They crashed out of the Champions League quarterfinals and finished 4th in La Liga. But this wouldn't be the story of the season, because Arsenal became the first club to win the Premier League without losing a game, as Henry, Vieira,
damn, Arsenal was that dominant?
and Pires shined for the Gunners. With a devastating 5-1 victory over Inter Milan in the Champions League group stages, many considered the London team as Europe's strongest outfit, but they wouldn't lift the trophy. Instead, Upcoming manager Jose Mourinho guided Porto to an unlikely Champions League final after expertly defeating Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Manchester United in the knockout stages. The achievements of the young Portuguese coach were impossible to ignore, and he was now considered the
This is why so many black people support Arsenal.
dream managerial appointment of
dominating
all
like that?
European clubs without a manager that summer. But first, he'd
Oh, they weren't dominant. It was mostly draws. Okay.
have to defeat Monaco in the Champions League final. Porto battered their French opposition 3-0 in the final, thanks to goals from Carlos Alberto, Deco, and Dimitri Alanichev to become the most unlikely Champions League winners of the 21st century. But the season of surprises wouldn't end there, as England, France, Spain, and Italy went into Euro 2004 with star-studded squads, but each left with nothing. Spain and Italy wouldn't make it out of the group stages, while England and France crashed out to Portugal and Greece in the quarterfinals, who would then meet in the final of the competition. This was also the debut competition of a certain Cristiano Ronaldo, who had his heart broken as Greece pulled off a shock 1-0 victory over Portugal, making for the greatest underdog story in European history, which capped off what is known as the Year of the Underdogs, with Valencia, Greece, and
Oh, Arsenal was basically the first English team to have so many black players. Shit, shout out to Arsenal. Some real niggas, man.
also
They knew what the fuck was going on.
Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga, all causing upsets across Europe. Okay, now we're halfway through the decade, and a certain 19-year-old winger is entering his second year in Manchester as signs of golden potential were starting to show. Ronaldo's Premier League debut against Bolton during 03-04 saw the wide man excite supporters with stepovers, turns, and undeniable raw talent. Yet, he was just one of a number of era-defining talents establishing themselves in the Premier League as 16-year-old striker Wayne Rooney ruthlessly smashed a 30-yard screamer against Arsenal little over 12 months earlier, announcing himself as the game's most exciting wonder kid. After an exhilarating Euros tournament that saw the youngster embarrass recognized stars such as Vieira and Thuram, he left Everton and joined Ronaldo at Old Trafford. The duo had contrasting energies. Cristiano was flamboyant, lean, and stylish, whilst Rooney displayed fearless power and skill while possessing uncharacteristic
Shit, no wonder why I know these motherfuckers' names. They had Rooney and Ronaldo on the same fucking team.
strength for someone of his age.
ridiculous.
Meanwhile, the hopes of Liverpool and Chelsea rested on the shoulders of English midfielders Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. The pair scored goals from midfield and galvanized supporters with their leadership, talent, and loyalty. But Gerrard's loyalty to his home club Liverpool would be put to the test.
Jeez,
The midfielder
chicken
was
for-
undoubtedly among the brightest stars in the game, but Liverpool were not befitting of his talent. They languished outside the top four and struggled through the early European rounds. By contrast, after Roman Abramovich's game-changing 2003 takeover of Chelsea, the West London club was ready to take over English football. They appointed the mastermind of Porto's 2004 Champions League triumph, Jose Mourinho, and signed Didier Drogba, Arjen Robben, and Ricardo Carvalho to build a seemingly unstoppable team. Chelsea defeated Liverpool in the League Cup final as Gerrard looked on longingly at Mourinho's men celebrating their first trophy together. The homegrown superstar's head had been turned. Even Arsenal and Man United looked incapable of stopping the Premier League's new money-bagged force as Chelsea charged to the Premier League title, accumulating 95 points and conceding on just 15 occasions. A second successive Champions League title seemed inevitable for Mourinho as
Who the fuck was that? That nigga looked insane. I'm sorry.
occasions. A second successive Champions League
Who the fuck is this? Shout out to bro.
title seemed inevitable for Mourinho as Chelsea faced Gerrard's Liverpool in the semis. If Chelsea won the
That's
tie,
you.
they'd almost certainly manage to sign Gerrard too, but former Valencia
How you
boss
say that
Rafa
nigga name?
Benitez had taken over Liverpool,
Dortmund?
and the clash would become
I
a
might say that
cagey
nigga name
tactical battle for a place in the final. Against
Respectfully, I'm
all
sorry.
odds, the Copites defeated Chelsea's super team thanks to a dubious Luis Garcia goal and booked their place in the competition's final for the first time since the mid-80s.
Drogba.
However, having finished fifth in the Premier League, nobody gave Rafa's team a chance against their world-class
my bad.
opposition, AC Milan. The Italian side had built on their 03 success and had a team filled with stars, including Pirlo, Maldini, Kaká, and Shevchenko. Milan's world-class players strutted onto the pitch and asserted their dominance almost immediately. Maldini scored inside the opening minute before Crespo added two before halftime. Liverpool went into halftime 3-0 down against arguably the greatest club side in the world and needing a miracle to get anything from the game. But as the fans bellowed, "You'll never walk alone," and Gerrard charged around the pitch galvanizing his disciples, Liverpool received a lifeline. Gerrard scored a shot consolation goal before Schmitzer and Alonso added a second and third to send the tie to extra time. 0-3 hero Shevchenko missed a sitter in extra time and missed a spot kick in the shootout as Liverpool pulled off the greatest comeback of all time with a 3-2 victory in penalties. Wow. Simply wow.
Okay.
Gerrard slept
That's
with
a
his
good-ass video.
grill glistening in the reflection of the Champions League the following night, but his transfer saga hadn't concluded. Liverpool's iconic Champions League victory was unlikely to be repeated, while Chelsea was just getting started. But in the end, Gerrard's loyalty took over, and he remained at Anfield.
France playing right now. What are you talking about? Playing an hour. For 54 minutes now. Man, I gotta remember to get off this stream and call SeatGeek. I need my fucking money or I'm calling my bank. I'll be damned if I be scammed during the World Cup.
But while English clubs were going at each other with aggression, Barcelona was taking over with artistry. Xavi, Iniesta, and Deco all danced with the ball in midfield, while Eto'o benefited as the clinical striker beyond their creativity, and Ronaldinho, well, he had just been crowned the best football player in the world, lifting the Ballon d'Or in 2005. And to make Barcelona even more exciting, whispers of a 21st century reincarnation of the great Diego Maradona were loudening. During the previous season, Ronaldinho looped a daring pass over the opposition defense to a small Argentine winger, Lionel Messi. The teenager would finish the chance with composure, but few inside Camp Nou knew the extent to which the promising star would transform football forever. During 05-06, Messi enjoyed a breakthrough season, featuring for Barcelona on 17 occasions, scoring 6 and assisting twice as the Catalan club won La Liga for the second successive season. Barca looked on track to pull off an iconic treble after beating Chelsea in a controversy-filled Champions League semi-final at Stamford Bridge, but they'd have to beat another fierce London side to clinch the title, Arsenal. The Gunners were striving for their first Champions League triumph, Barca in search of their second. It was Henry, a fresh-faced Fabregas, and Cole against Puyol, Ronaldinho and Eto'o. The final looked set to be an all-timer. Arsenal impressed on the night. They took the lead through Sol Campbell, but Henry missed a flurry of chances as they crumbled to a 2-1 defeat against football's greatest emerging dynasty. It wasn't all gloomy for the legendary French forward, though, because he secured a move to Barcelona in the wake of the Champions League final heartbreak and had the 2006 World Cup in Germany to look forward to.
Wait a minute. He just lost to these niggas in the Champions League, then he went over there? This nigga pulled a KD. Wait a fucking minute. Yo, no way he did that shit. Oh, no, they said no. Oh, he was already gone. Oh, this was the next year? He left the summer after. All right, I promise, I'm off 3 hours of sleep. My mind not correlated, I understand it. So they lost, the summertime went by, and he went over there? Wait, what are y'all talking about? No. Did another year go by, then he went? Oh, he played one more season. Okay. All right. He played one more season. That's not as bad as KD. It's not as bad. You want some fuck shit. He knew he was on some fuck shit.
But first, we have to look at the rest
KD with an extra step. No bullshit.
Of Europe. Mourinho's Chelsea won a second back-to-back Premier League, also meaning that Manchester United have now gone 3 seasons without a title. Bayern Munich lifted the Bundesliga, shocker, and Lyon, as I mentioned earlier, were now on their 5th consecutive title. And Serie A, well, officially Inter Milan won it, but that wouldn't be announced till later on because they were undergoing one of the greatest cheating scandals in football history, which literally saw teams relegated and titles stripped. But we'll get to that soon. For now, the World Cup 2006, which might just be the most iconic tournament of them all, as it would be the final outing for Zinedine Zidane, who was set to retire after the World Cup's conclusion. France and Brazil were the tournament's favorites, and the world stopped to watch when they met in the quarterfinals. Many expected a 36-year-old Zidane to struggle against a Brazilian side containing R9, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Roberto Carlos, and Cafu, but the Frenchman was imperious. He pulled off one of the greatest individual World Cup performances of all time, effortlessly dancing past and humiliating his opposition. The midfielder provided the assist for the winning goal as France snuck through to the semi.
Facts, what did you send me? It says Sleeper Knicks. What is this? I seen them niggas make their commentary. Bro, those soccer niggas don't know what they talking about. They just making American references.
This is one of Messi's greatest goals.
They're just making soccer references. Okay. You can just chill.
I cap a la dreta per Xavi, assistència de Xavi, més cap a la dreta per Messi, Messi, i
yeah, I might have to start watching them like Messi,
Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol, 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 increïble, no m'ho puc.
You gotta chill. He must relax.
Treves_ just resubscribed for 5 months. What's good, Trey man? I work overnights. I never catch the streams. Live Trey, so twin gol 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 gol.
Yo, what the fuck? Why was that timed up so perfectly? Why the fuck did you time that up so perfectly? What the fuck?
I cap a la dreta per Xavi, assistència de Xavi, més cap a la dreta per Messi, immens Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol, 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 increïble, increïble.
Stacks said he know a girl that sound like that, bro. Now, Stacks, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad comment. This nigga was bugging. What the fuck? Good goal, though. That was crazy.
It's legends, storylines, and iconic moments, but the 2000s might have just been the best of them all. In the 2000s, we witnessed the peak of football's most iconic players, Zidane, R9, Ronaldinho, alongside the rise of both Lionel Messi.
Wrong video. Wrong one.
Elsewhere, Ronaldo and Rooney clashed as England faced Portugal in the quarters. Rooney appeared to stamp on his United teammate, and Ronaldo made the most out of it before winking to the camera after the Englishman's red card. The smirk was
sick. Yo! Yo, what the fuck?
Ronaldo's face when he came up against Zinedine Zidane's France in the semis, though. The maestro scored a penalty as France marched to the...
Nah, honestly, I think that's some real nigga shit, bro. We ain't got time to be friends when we on the World Cup. That shit over.
The final as the world was about to witness footballing cinema at its finest. During the finals opening stages against Italy, Zizou put France into the lead with an audacious Panenka penalty that hit the inside of the crossbar before crossing the line, and the golden trophy glistening on the side of the pitch appeared to be within reach. But Italy leveled with a Materazzi goal, and the final went to extra time. With tensions running high, the two goal scorers exchanged words deep into extra time, but it quickly turned out to be the most iconic moment of the decade. Zidane furiously turned around and smashed a headbutt into the Italian's chest, knocking him to the ground. The referee had no choice but to send the Frenchman off in his final appearance as he trudged past the trophy, sitting
patiently. He knew he was
retiring.
He didn't give a fuck.
The tie went to penalties, and Trezeguet missed another major final spot kick, gifting Italy the World Cup that practically had Zidane's name on it.
Oh, that nigga was bugging.
Zidane's exit from the beautiful game.
He said something about Zidane's mom. Bro, what could that nigga say something about that nigga mama that was that bad? Was his mama like good? Was she alive? Nigga, man, your mama ass fat than a bitch. What bitch? That nigga hit that nigga. That nigga got a nigga headbutt. Ah, nigga didn't give a fuck, bro. He said I'm retiring, bro.
It was so saddening that the football world was practically mourning. And
That's
it wasn't
crazy.
the only gut-wrenching farewell of the summer, because Juventus were accused of attempting to influence refereeing decisions through bribery and were punished by being demoted from the Serie A and being stripped off of 2 Serie A titles in 2005 and 2006. But they weren't the only team involved.
They was
AC
robbing
Milan,
niggas.
Fiorentina, Lazio, and Reggiana all had their part to play in the scandal, receiving point deductions and fines, as overnight the Serie A was put into disarray. Italy's top flight had to spend a year without Juventus, and Serie A wouldn't feel the same for several years. The decade entered its mid to late seasons, having
That's
experienced
crazy.
an unprecedented level of growth, change, and investment across its 6 previous seasons, and in 2006, the game felt like it had been unleashed from the gatekeepers of the 20th century. New creative players
relax.
like CR7,
Oh, shit.
Messi, Iniesta, Fabregas, and Kaká were showing glimpses that a new way of winning was set to take over the football world. Over in the Premier League, Fergie's men finally regained their spot as champions, as he was building yet another super team set to dominate the next 7 years of English football. Real Madrid reclaimed their crown as La Liga champions, finishing level points with Barcelona but winning on head-to-heads. Inter Milan broke the point record in Serie A as they cruised to a 97-point first-place finish. Lyon won yet another Super League, and Stuttgart managed to dethrone Bayern Munich in Germany. But what happened in the Champions League? Well, let's start from the semis, where Man United took on AC Milan. And the Thai saw Kaká score a mesmerizing solo goal. Rooney and Ronaldo produce electric attacking displays, and world-class players in every position.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That was Rooney.
Ronaldo produced
I don't know whoever bro is. This a real nigga. Because a nigga like me would have stole this goal. You mean all I gotta do is just tap this goal with the top of my shoe and it's count as mine? A nigga like me would have stole this. Offsides, only if I was on sides though. Only if I was on sides. This would have been my goal.
electric attacking displays and world-class
Real snake. So Ronaldo. Nigga, I need them points. I know niggas was gambling on my name. I really think I'm a real nigga because I'm not gambling, but I know niggas gambled on me. Let me make y'all niggas some money. Hold on, real shit. That's mine. Well, that's a handball. That's mine. Good goal. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, a good little kick. I ain't gonna kick because I got my feet out. I look crazy.
Players in every position perform with freedom and expression. AC Milan won a goal-filled tie, 5-3
Ain't no niggas
on
gambling
aggregate,
on you.
and faced Liverpool in the final, who had defeated Chelsea on pens to recreate the 2005 final lineup. But unfortunately for the Scousers, the Italian club would get revenge on their Istanbul conquerors, beating the English club 2-1 to lift their 7th Champions League trophy. But as football gradually began to change from defensive conservatism to attacking dynamism, AC Milan slowly declined in Europe. Their 5-3 victory over United was uncharacteristic of their usual defensive tightness, and the game was evolving to make sitting in a low block less successful. On top of this, the days of 5-time Champions League winning center-back Paolo Maldini were numbered, while icons like Seedorf, Nesta, Dida, and Gattuso approached their twilight years. A dynasty that won 4 Champions League and reached 3 finals in the 90s and 2000s was set to finally fall as their legendary team aged and footballing styles changed across Europe.
Damn.
The Milan club has not won another Champions League since.
Damn.
They're not the only Italian club to lose their grip on Europe either. A Serie A club has only been triumphant in the Champions League once since AC Milan's 2007 victory over Liverpool, that being the famous treble winners of Inter Milan. But that's not in this decade, so now let's move on to 2008. While Mourinho's Chelsea dominated the mid-2000s, United were in the process of reclaiming their stranglehold.
I'll bet $1 on you game, maybe $1.50, and I wouldn't have touched that motherfucking goal. I would hope you would have lost that $1, nigga. I wouldn't, boy. I hope that $1 was your parking meter so they would have told your shit.
on the Premier League. Ferguson's relentless
I
Red
wouldn't see that
Devils
goal.
won
Yo,
the
Zeros,
06-07
relax.
title and look set to retain their prize in 07-08. And the man leading the charge was simply unstoppable. Cristiano Ronaldo. The United winger was no longer a gangly one-trick pony. He transformed into a powerful goal-scoring machine that produced magic to drag the champions to victory. Ronaldo's 31 goals that season elevated the Portuguese player from wonder kid to superstar. Yet, his teammates were capable with or without him. United's world-class attack featuring Rooney and Tevez were among the greatest of the decade, while Scholes, Carrick, Ferdinand, Vidic and Van der Sar made up a fierce spine. Mourinho's team of Titans would attempt to knock United off their perch, but the Manchester club beat them to the title by 2 points. Chelsea would get a chance for revenge a few weeks later, though, as they faced off in a frightening all-Premier League affair in the Champions League final. If the Premier League giants were neck and neck domestically, they were inseparable in the European final. Ronaldo scored for United before Lampard equalized for Chelsea, and the game of the season headed for extra time and eventually penalties. But Ferguson's Premier League champions were triumphant after John Terry slipped in the Moscow rain and sent his penalty sailing above the crossbar, meaning Ferguson's men completed an iconic double, and Cristiano Ronaldo was crowned the best player in the world, lifting the Ballon d'Or trophy for the very first time. Over to the other leagues, Bayern Munich reclaimed their crown as German champions. Inter Milan claimed their 3rd Serie A in a row.
Fuck
and Lyon
John Terry
completed
forever. The nigga that just slipped, he slipped in the rain.
League champions were triumphant after John Terry slipped in the Moscow rain and sent his penalty sailing above.
Man, he slipped. Oh, he racist. Fuck John Terry. That nigga a bitch.
Time. Over to the other leagues, Bayern Munich reclaimed their crown as German champion.
Bitch ass nigga, your feet was up good enough. Nigga want to blame the elements. You a lame. Nigga, fuck you. You're a fuck buddy. Nigga lame as fuck. Want to blame the elements. What's wrong with niggas? Everybody playing on the same field. But all of a sudden, it's a problem for you.
Inter Milan claimed their 3rd Serie A in a row, and Lyon completed their unbelievable 7th straight title, lasting from 2002 to 2008. But what was happening over in Spain? Well, in La Liga, Real Madrid won their 2nd title in a row, but there was something happening over there that was going to be very scary for the rest of Spain and Europe, as Barcelona had a team featuring a rapidly improving Lionel Messi and Andres Iniesta, alongside established greats like Xavi, Ronaldinho, Carlos Puyol, and Thierry Henry, but somehow they were not winning. The Blaugrana crashed out in the semifinals of the Copa del Rey and Champions League and finished 3rd in La Liga. Frank Rijkaard and his star signing Ronaldinho had brought Barcelona. They had won La Liga and the Champions League, but after a disappointing year, it was clear a change was needed, and that change was former Barcelona midfielder Pep Guardiola, who at the time was a completely unproven coach. The board were about to appoint Jose Mourinho, but
that nigga had a stacked team with all that talent and couldn't win. They fired his ass.
Cruyff stepped in, wishing for them to stick to the club's belief and go for Pep. This sparked the Jose hatred for Barcelona that would dominate the next decade, but for now, Spanish football was about to enter its golden era as the 2008 Euros rolled around and Barcelona's Xavi, Iniesta, and Puyol wowed as Spain beat Italy, Russia, and Germany on their way to continental glory. In the wake of Spain's success, Guardiola signed former La Masia star Gerard Piqué from Man United, electric fullback Dani Alves from Sevilla, and integrated defensive midfielder Sergio Busquets from the B team. And whether anybody knew it or not, Pep was building a super team.
Where's Hans?
Okay, here we are.
Developing right now.
2009. Bordeaux dethroned Lyon in the French league to lift the title. Wolfsburg shocked Germany by lifting the Bundesliga. Inter Milan had just appointed Jose Mourinho, who led his team to their 4th Serie A in a row. And as for Spain and England, well, this is where the story of 2009 really took place. Guardiola's Barcelona pretty much dominated La Liga after a rocky start, winning 20 league games in a row, and Pep's team was equally dominant in the Champions League, where they thrashed Bayern Munich 4-0 in the quarterfinals. The results were impressive, but the style of play was mesmerizing. Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets would bounce the ball to one another, making a series of quick one-touch passes in triangle shapes before playing intricate passes and making space for the deadly Messi, Eto'o, and Henry. The tactical style would later be named as Tiki-Taka and would become arguably the most important playing shift of the 21st century. The tough defenses of Italian clubs would be mesmerized by by it. The physicality of English teams would be outwitted by it, and the efficiency of the Bundesliga's best would crumble against Guardiola's Barca. But before they'd become the
That shit is so smart as far as like, obviously I'm learning soccer tactics and techniques and shit, but it is smart if a team is more physical than you and they just like stronger than y'all, we gonna be quick. We gonna do a bunch of quick passes so y'all can't fucking touch us. And we can get into space and move. Like, that shit is smart as hell.
Greatest team of all time and win iconic Champions League titles in 2011. They faced Ferguson's United in the 2009 final. The Manchester club was the holder of the Champions League and considered themselves favorites to retain the European Cup. They
Make a
finished
player
the
in
season
FIFA, it's
as
on the way
Premier
for
League
sure.
champions yet again, winning it for a third time in a row with Ronaldo on fire yet again. So Rooney, Ronaldo, Ferdinand, Vidic, and Evra walked onto the pitch ready to impose their physicality. But within minutes, they realized they'd come up against the team that would rule Europe for years to come. Barca's players were smarter, more technically gifted, and tactically cohesive than anything United.
So one of the most fire thing about this soccer shit that we're currently watching, I know somebody you might be confused, but I just watched a video on this and it gave me a better explanation. If I could find it, I would play it, but I don't think that I'll be able to. You get to see players, they play in their own leagues, right? So you got the Premier League, you got I think that's La Liga and all shit like that, right? Like it's like the English top league, the Spain top league, the Italian top league, and they play those teams in there, right? But then eventually it was like, yo, okay, if y'all liked it, let's take the best 2 or 3 teams from those leagues and put y'all together in the Champions League and try to see if you really fucking liked it. So you can see like, okay, boom, if PSG, it's top 4 teams basically. So boom. So if PSG been dominating in France, that's nice. That sound good. But come over to the Champions League and do it. So that's why if you're confused, you're seeing them say, for an example, Manchester United is winning the Premier League. But then they go over to the Champions League and see if you can do it there. Basically.
Had come up against in the Premier League or Champions League before. Xavi controlled the opening proceedings.
It's low-key what Adam Silver wants for the NBA. Yeah, so honestly, you can tell he's incorporating soccer-style shit with the NBA Cup. I hope that he don't try to be doing no shit where we play other leagues and with basketball, like with championship. I think it's kind of weird. I'm kind of with the FIBA. I'm cool with the FIBA shit. I think the NBA Cup is a fire idea. I'm not one of them niggas that hate it. And I think it was cool that the Knicks brought out the NBA Cup as they had their championship as well. I like it. But just don't go too damn far. Just chill.
Opened the scoring, and Messi sealed the iconic victory with a header. It was the little Argentine's 38th goal of the season, where he'd won the La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. And later that year, he pitched the Ballon d'Or from Cristiano Ronaldo, sparking a rivalry that would define the following decade. In the weeks after Barcelona,
hold on, Lakers versus Real. I'm gonna be real. If we were to be doing that shit, the Lakers will be winning most of the time, but or not just the Lakers, the NBA teams will be winning most of the time. But there will be upsets that happen because like it happens everywhere. But the problem is with those people, they're using they got good talent. A lot of them come from their countries, but for teams like Real Madrid in basketball, right? They sign players from elsewhere. But the problem is, nigga, the best players know the NBA is the Premier League. It's not no close shit. It's not close at all. Maybe the Premier League and the like La Liga is sometime the talent wise is close. It's not close at all in the NBA. Niggas is go. You're going to the NBA because that's where the money at. And it's why the fuck would I go over there when no, I can get a fat bag over here. The NBA is legitimately where the best players are at.
As treble had been confirmed, Madrid spent outrageously to prevent their El Clasico rivals from retaining their titles. They broke the world record twice that summer, first by signing AC Milan talisman Kaka for 67 million euros, then by clinching Ronaldo from United for 94 million euros. With Liverpool's influential midfielder Xabi Alonso and Lyon's Karim Benzema also added to their ranks, Real Madrid had built a team that looked set to compete with Guardiola's Tiki-Taka style. This set the scene for the next decade of football, which would be defined by Barcelona and Real Madrid, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, and Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho fighting for football supremacy. And just like that, the modern era of football had truly arrived.
That was a great video to walk you through that era of football. A whole lot of shit I did not know. A whole lot of shit we learned now. So fire. Fuck with that great video. And I'm sorry I took forever to get to it, but I was like, I'm gonna wait until until what you call that shit, until we do another soccer stream. So I like that. I like the fact that we got a versatile community that we can watch a bunch of different sports and talk a whole lot of shit.
But I live down like a G. She talking about baby be cautious. I'm whipping that bitch till she nauseous. Whipping that bitch till she nauseous. She talking about baby be cautious. Straight to the parking lot. After that we proceed to the bank seat.